and we are live. Move over, kids. How are you tonight? I think I might have fixed my microphone problem, so let me know in the chat if things are a little quiet. The main topic of today, well, one of the major topics of today, is the Mario 3D world. Has everybody got their copy of Mario 3D?
Hmm.
Yep,
David,
for
you got
sure.
yours?
I do, yes.
All right. Well, what is hey EPS 5000? How's my microphone level sounding right now? And he is here. So yeah, my Mario 3D. People are mad at it, and we can talk about that a little bit later. Just a little bit. We'll let some people jump in, and EPS has his 3D, and Ronald is here. What is up? How are you? Um, what are your guys' initial thoughts? What have you been playing? What you have three classic Mario games at your disposal now. Hello, Issa
Classique.
Patel. And EPS is still saying I'm quiet, so I don't know. I gotta figure it out. I tried. I thought I figured it out. Let me tune up my game a little. Let's see if that helps at all. Anyways, where Christian, long time no see. How are you doing? What Mario game did you start with?
Me? I
Anyone?
didn't know if I was still okay. Um,
Hunter,
yeah.
I know Hunter. I can tell you what his was. It was he went right for um, uh, the water one.
Sunshine.
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 I don't know why I blanked, but I blanked. So what were you saying, David?
Yeah. I was just kind of sitting down and I was like, I really need to play this. I don't want it to just be another collected thing where I just buy it and I don't play it, right? I said every collector ever, but I actually um I don't know if you guys knew this, but I never owned. Now I do. As of 2016, I own Sunshine, but I didn't play it when it was big and popular at the time. So I forced myself to, like, I really wanted to go to Galaxy because of how much I love that and 64. But I played 64 so many times. And so I said, let me just play Sunshine. And I'm gonna tell you what, man, I'm having a lot of fun with that game.
So
It's
was
um
this your first time playing Sunshine?
it's not my first time playing. Like, I would play it every time I go to a Target or Kmart or my friend's house. It was something I've played, but I never owned it as a kid and I never beat it. So so now I'm like really gonna play it, from start to finish. So
I'm with Asit Patel. I didn't. I haven't started Sunshine yet, but I didn't give it much of a chance originally. So I'm actually very excited and a little nervous about playing it because it might. I wonder if it's like platformer games, especially 3D platformer games. Like sometimes they can be too hard for me, and I'm wondering if this is going to be one of those.
yeah, that I'm just kind of getting used to the controls right now. I'm seeing that there are similar button schemes, like the dive button, the triple jump. I really, really like how no matter what setting your flood is at, depending on your jump, like if you do a spin jump and you have the nozzle sticking out and you hit water as you jump, it will actually spray water. Or if you do a flip, the water will actually, like, the physics I'm really impressed with is what I'm trying to say. Um, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of secret moves that aren't like on the, like, do you remember playing games and not all of the moves that you either fighting or whatever game you're playing
Aren't like on
were
the
given to
like.
you
Do you
in the
remember?
instruction booklet? Like
Uh,
some of the books, some of the moves are like you either find it by accident or a friend tells you like, "Hey, did you know that if you press XYZ, you do this?" Well, I've already found a couple of those things, which
yeah.
is really cool.
What are
Like
they?
well, one of them is if you hit the nozzle trigger and jump like kind of like simultaneously, you'll Mario will do like a backflip, which is really cool. Like he'll be standing and he'll like be propelled backward for his backflip because of the nozzle spray, which is really cool. I'm it just kind of proves that the development team really was kind of thinking of different ways to move Mario.
There was even more too, because there was stuff that wasn't included in the game that they were working on, and one of them was putting the nozzle directly behind him and spraying to dash forward, to get more momentum going forward.
Oh, okay.
There was something like that they were working on, but it never got implemented into the game.
So, like, explain that again. Like, what was it exactly that they were going to do? Like,
they were going to make it, instead of the nozzle going forward,
the
nozzle, they were going to have a way that it goes backwards.
Oh.
And it would propel him forward, like the momentum of that, kind of like a rocket engine. Almost.
Yeah, that's so cool. I'm really excited. Like I said, I've only played I went to I'm almost done with Bianco Hills. I just beat PD Piranha, and I've done this in the span of less than an hour, just because I'm so familiar with Mario games of the thing that gave me trouble so far is the stupid durian fruit. I don't know how does that even, what is that? What kind of fruit is that?
It's a very stinky fruit. And let me tell you, I think somebody sent one of those through the mail the other day. And it was rotting a little bit, I think.
Yeah, well,
folks, don't send fruit through the mail.
Well, this Pianta said, I need 3 durian fruits. And I'm like, hey, I've seen some fruits on some rooftops. I literally spent probably half of my gameplay trying to pick up first of all, trying to find it. And then second of all, trying to take it to her, because she's across bodies of water, so you can't just quite go.
I remember that. If you dropped it in the water, you had to start over.
Exactly.
I remember that from the GameCube.
Exactly. And I was trying to get my aim just right. I was like, okay, if I throw it down this hallway and bounces off this building, and if I triple jump, I can get to it right before it disappears, because the fruit just blinks and then disappears. And and then as soon as I got to it, I was like, yes, I got to it. I dropped it in her basket, and it was like, this is a durian fruit. And I was like, no. So
Hunter agrees that it's a pain. And what's up, Nick Clanton? How are you today?
So I hear it's one of the harder Mario games in the series.
Yeah, that's why I'm a little worried about. Like I said, I'm not that good at. And if it's Nintendo hard on a 3D platformer, I don't know if I'm going to be able to complete it.
It's one I finished years ago.
I never finished it.
What's the one that you started playing, Devin?
I started with 64 because I don't know. I guess it might be a Nintendo sin. I've never beat the original Super Mario 64. I beat it on the DS because I was never able to get the proper amount of stars to go to the final boss. I was able to do it because they added more stars in the DS version. I'm determined to beat that one first.
I would have liked to have had the DS version as an option to play as.
I actually don't, because I went back to play the DS version and I'm like, I don't know why. I could not handle it right. Or maybe it's just because it's not optimized right to work on the 3DS very well.
Maybe, but I kind of want to have the other characters.
That's true.
I think I saw a comparison of the DS version and the original version. And the DS version, although it does have all the cool bells and whistles, it's very desaturated. The colors kind of washed out, which for me is that counts as something, I guess. So I guess I'm okay with the way it ended up. But yeah, I could see both sides of that coin. It would be really cool to play as those characters. Someone was joking on the internet. It's well, they found Luigi in Mario 64. What if they find Waluigi in the DS version? So
the W is real. Does anybody know if the L is real? Is in?
It is. It's not.
I looked at the plaque. It is there.
The text and the texture, it's there. It's still not. It was neither improved nor removed. Yeah. So
they didn't make it so. They didn't make it so you can actually tell that is what it says.
It's just a little bit cleared to where now the argument is, well, is that even English? Some people actually think it's Japanese kanji. So now there's a new argument on the table, which is cool. It gives it more life, I guess.
What about you, William? What did you start with?
So I started with Sunshine because that's the one I really like. Here's my thing though. It's like I'm not gonna make complaints as negatives against the game as the game, but is it just me or is the game looking at all the gameplay, it's very crisp, but I go to play it and that game just seems a little blurry.
Sunshine?
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some texture. There were some areas where I'm like, okay, this is not running natively on the Switch hardware, that's fine. But there were some parts where I was like, it was weird because like everything was fine, but then Mario looked like he was graded, like he was a little bit darker than everything else, and then where he was lighter than everything else. And I'm like, okay, so clearly there's emulation going here, which is fine. But yeah, I know I could see what you were talking about.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a great collection to put together. It almost feels like some of the videos people have been putting out there for it don't properly show it the way it shows up on, because I'm not playing it in handheld mode. I'm playing it on my TV.
Me too.
Well, I guess we could segue into the title of this episode. People are mad at 3D collection.
Yeah, and I'll say I'm certainly not mad.
Me either.
But do you think they have a point? Like Nintendo.
No.
I think like they're I think it's a little skewed saying that Nintendo is charging $60 for this game because there's 3 classic games. So really they're charging $20.
Good luck finding an original copy of Sunshine for $60.
Yeah, I was gonna say the collection. There's no possible way unless you find somebody that doesn't know what they have to find that lower than 60.
Yeah.
Find it lower than 120 for all 3 of them, probably.
Even Galaxy, which is probably the cheapest game in that collection now, like if you were to look like original software, like if you were to go and buy the games, Galaxy is probably the cheapest, but I think that actually went up in price as well as Galaxy 2 because it's obviously missing from this collection. I think Galaxy 2 I've seen copies for like $30 or something. I don't know if I'm.
And if you pre-ordered the original Sunshine, it was a Toys R Us exclusive pre-order item. It was a beach towel, and I think I've shown it here on the show a couple years ago.
I think so.
I wish I wish I'd gotten it out. I have it over there somewhere. I was just looking it up now. It's going for $40 to $60.
That's a pretty cool item to have, a beach towel.
Yeah, the last one that sold was August 6th, and that was for $41.50.
But back to the problems people having. Do you think this is like, what about the emulation? Like, people are kind of complaining that this is an emulation or instead of like a port. How do people even know it's an emulation? Like, Nintendo hasn't said anything. Is it just people going into the code or like?
Yeah, people break it apart and put it under a microscope, and so the very, very small population of the gamers are obviously against this or upset about it because it's not whatever. But to the average consumer, especially with the Switch these days, like little kids, they probably don't even notice anything at all. So
yeah, but that's the other thing. Really, if you look at it, our age group is the only one's going to really be buying this. If you think about it.
Well,
yeah.
No,
I
think my kids would. I mean, I got it for myself.
But
and
and you
kids.
would be showing your kids. It's not. I don't think your kids are randomly. Besides the fact that it's Mario, they'd be like, okay.
Mhm.
I went to
we
go
have
pick up,
Odyssey. Why would we play this?
I went to pick up my Magic cards the other day, and there was a guy in there picking up like a whole case of the Magic cards, and he said he has 3 kids, and he picked up 3 kids or 2 kids. Either way, he picked up a copy for himself. He went to Target. They would only allow him to buy 1 copy. He then had to go over to Best Buy and get a copy over there, and they were almost sold out. I think he bought like one of the last copies they had. Then he gets home and finds out his other son wants a copy. So now he has to go try to find a 3rd copy. I mean, this game is selling out. It's on Amazon right now, but a lot of stores are selling out.
Stores.
Yeah,
it's pretty much gone.
I think I kind of lucked out because I have half days on Friday when things line up well for me. And so there's a Target right next to the infamous Target where I found that bad boy, right? And so I just went to it and I was like, because you guys were saying, I don't know, I'm not having luck with this, or I've seen that, whatever. So I go in there and I see a case full of them. But then I was asking you guys about the pre-order bonus or whatever for Target, and I was like, okay, so I need to make sure that if I leave here, that I have the pre-order bonus that I didn't get, but maybe I can still kind of, if they have it at the counter or whatever. And they did. They had the magnet pack, which is so I saw plenty of copies, but that obviously probably would have changed around like 6, 7 o'clock when people actually get off of work. So
yeah. Ronald in the chat brings up a good point. The GameCube X button icon in Mario Sunshine is still there. I don't know why they left that in.
And that's another thing. Like, I know it's kind of nitpicking, but is it just a demonstration of Nintendo being lazy?
I honestly feel like not so much lazy, but that they just didn't feel it's the same button anyway, so might as well leave it there.
Oh,
that's how I'm looking at it.
Did the original GameCube button have a ZR button?
There was the X button, the little kidney bean.
There's the kidney bean one, and then up at the top was like an indigo purple button, which was the Z button, right?
I think yes, I believe so.
But there wasn't a ZR button.
No, there was the L and the R and
L and
the
R.
Z.
ZR, because you're right then, because some Piantas were giving me some tutorials. They're like, hit ZR for the nozzle, whatever, and I'm like, that's a switch button, but then it would leave the X kidney bean button, and I was like, but that's a GameCube button. Is it the same as my X? I was confused. So
I think it's the same X.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't bother me, but then again, I'm kind of like, I don't know. It takes a lot to really like irk me when it comes to this. I could see why it would bother some people, but if Nintendo's being lazy, I don't know. I mean, it takes time, and it takes some kind of time back at Nintendo to put these games together and do some stuff. Maybe they have these assets readily available and they messed up on one of them. I don't know. It's a very it just depends, I guess, objectively, subjectively.
The Sunshine or the collection, the 2D collection on the Wii, it had like a bunch of stuff with it. Like, didn't it?
It had a book, it had a soundtrack, and that was pretty much it. Otherwise, it was just a Wii copy of the exact Super Nintendo game.
They have a music player in the thing, which is really cool. I spent like 10 minutes just listening to Galaxy music. And I'm glad that that's there.
Yeah, I just haven't had enough time to really explore the game, and
for me, it's worth it.
Stuff.
You could take 3 games on the go, and that's really cool.
Yep.
So, I, in my opinion, I wouldn't call it lazy. I think it's a just price. Yeah, the arguments can be made like Activision gave us a remastered Crash thing for $40 or whatever, but I don't know. I mean, this is premium stuff because it's Nintendo and it's Mario, so I guess that's the tax that comes with it.
But they also never claimed that it was a remaster. They did say they cleaned up some stuff, but they never claimed that it was a full-out remaster.
Right.
Gavin, what would you say to the Mario haters?
I don't know. I feel like it's the opinions, whatever. I mean, I guess everybody's entitled to it, but I don't think it's lazy. I just don't understand, because there's people complaining about like the ESRB logo on the front, and then the price of the games, and then various other things like the backwards long jump or something like that. A glitch not being in the game. How dare they fix stuff?
So here's something I found out before getting on the on the show. So when you collect all 120 stars in Mario 64 and you do the Bowser fight, he mentions the analog stick. They changed the dialogue for that. He says left. I think he says left stick instead of analog stick.
Yeah.
But yet the typo in the game is still there. There's a typo in the game in one of the one of the pieces of dialogue, and it's still there. But they fixed one and they didn't do the other. I'm confused as to why. And in case anybody in the chat that's watching, so here's the game, and you can see that the logo on it is just off center because they have put the ESRB rating on it. Yeah. I was trying to get it to go. It's not really focusing that well.
Is that a new thing? I don't remember seeing the ESRB logo on the other game cartridges.
They did it for Pokemon.
It's there. I'm pretty sure it's there on all of them. I thought.
I don't know if all of them. I remember thinking on Pokemon, and I was like, "That's weird."
Let me
But
check.
either way, my main point is like this is not like the only compilation of games that has ever existed. We've gotten God of War in the past. We've gotten Halo. We've gotten Kingdom Hearts. We've gotten all kinds of compilations of games. But this is the one that everybody wants to complain about. I mean, and I never heard a single complaint about the Kingdom Hearts compilations or a single complaint
they
about
gave
any
us
God of War
they
one.
gave us cinematics for these. Oh, that's bull.
Yeah, exactly. But like I've heard just complaint after complaint after complaint about the 3D All-Stars thing. If you don't like it, don't buy it.
Yeah,
It's really that simple.
Right.
Like if you're whining that much, buy. I'll enjoy the game the way it's meant to be enjoyed.
Right. And I feel like, and I my Twitter feed's insane sometimes, but I can clearly remember the people that were clamoring for this. They wanted this to be a thing 12 months ago, and now it is a thing, and now those same people are complaining about it.
Yeah.
And so the internet's obviously full of hypocrites, and so
but maybe that's just me, but I know most of us here probably have the same opinion. But when it comes to Mario 64, like it's janky for its time, but I want it to be that way because that's the way I remember the game.
Yeah.
If they remastered it and did all kinds of like new age stuff,
then it's not the same game.
Much. I liked it because of its quirky nature, the weird camera angles, and like the voice actor, and like I like it because it's Mario 64. It's part of my childhood.
Yeah, it's like when you go and redo a game, like if it's got the same feel and controls, then it's what people remember and it's what they want. I mean, imagine if they redid the original Super Mario Brothers, and the movement to it was completely different.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's exactly what I mean,
that game, the physics of the jumping and the moving and all that are much different than the other titles.
Yeah.
And I think it's even the same in Mario All-Stars. It still feels that same way.
Right.
Yeah, it does. Although there's actually jumping physics that I didn't know existed when I first played the game, and I'm taking advantage of this time. I didn't know that you could do that, like the crouching down and jump forward thing.
Right.
Yep.
I didn't know you could do that.
If you I don't know if Miyamoto intended this to be a thing, but whenever it's a Super Mario 64, you're like, your turn radius, when you're like pivoting around, like you're running really fast and you're pivoting around somewhere, it looks like Mario kind of like looks at his shoes and like, does that thing. I've recognized that animation since I was a kid, and I've always just kind of took that as Mario's personality of the way he runs, right? He just kind of turns on the dime and he does this like little like pivot thing. Think about if they reskin that Crash Bandicoot style, where they made it look like Odyssey, right? Or whatever, or something very updated, but it still had the same physics as 64. That would be weird. That would be weird.
Yeah, it would be weird, and then you'd be like, okay, well, why does it have such outdated controls?
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
Why didn't they update the controls, and why this and that? And it would just cause more argument. And I feel like it was obviously a no-brainer to not mess with the original like artistic direction. Like if it's one thing including the Mario 64 low poly model in Odyssey as like a hat and a costume you can wear. But you really can't quite do that the opposite way unless you spend a lot of time. At this point, it would be a remaster and a remake and not a remaster, right? Like the threshold is so weird.
Yeah.
A remake would be if you like completely redo it from the ground up. You've changed physics around and stuff like that. The remaster is when it still has the feeling of the old one, but it's refreshed and it's like the graphics are a little better on it.
Right. I don't know if they could quite do that with 64, and then people would complain, well, oh, this game is actually really short, so was it worth this price? And so I feel like Nintendo did the best that they could with this.
Yeah, somebody claimed that they beat Mario 64 in 2 hours, and they feel like, oh, what a waste of money. It's like, I already beat one of the games in a couple hours.
Well,
yeah.
You can beat that game in 2 hours.
Well,
You can beat Super Mario World in a short amount of time too.
Yeah, you talking about like 100%, Ken, or are you just talking about like speedrunner mode? Because speedrunning, you can get it in like under 10 minutes or something.
Without like a glitch.
Without a glitch, I mean, I've seen people run through Big Womp's Fortress and like collect all the stars in a matter of time. Like 100%, yeah, it's possible.
I was gonna say because I've played the game so many times, I've been running through a lot of it, so I'm like 30 stars already. But I'm also savoring it because it's like when I loaded up that game, it was like I played it for the first time again. I don't know. It was just like a sense of like happiness in a way. I don't know, but that was just me.
Yeah.
I love that game and I always will. I'm glad it's on the Switch and I'm glad it's here to stay for now, at least for the people that bought it already. But I still have a feeling that it's going to come back in some form. They said that the last one was going to be limited too.
Like Ken, like let's say they do a Zelda 3D collection, and the games are Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, or whatever, right? And the version of Ocarina of Time that they include is the one that like botches out speedrunners, and they didn't fix these typos or these original whatevers. And as a Zelda fan, does that change your perception of it a little bit, or?
If it doesn't fix glitches?
Right. If it didn't fix, or if it fixed pretty much the same scenario as Mario 64, it's a later revision of the game, like the Shindo version, right? And so speedrunners are botched a little bit, and they didn't pick up some apparent typos in some of the text, or they didn't give you an option where you can go through all the text or something. Like what is your opinion of a situation like that, being a Zelda fan?
I mean, honestly, I personally wouldn't care because just having the ability to play it on the Switch would be like.
I agree.
For me, you know.
That's the big thing for me too, because like besides the 3DS, we've never had a way of playing Mario Galaxy on the go, or the Mario 64 on the go. We've never had a way of doing this before besides the DS.
Yeah, it's like to get like those Zelda games on the Switch would be amazing. Like the Wii U is a Zelda machine, but you had to download Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and all these games. Now they had some on physical, like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, and you could play a physical edition of Skyward Sword if you did the Wii backwards capabilities. But now that they're on little cartridges and the Switch is the main system, and you know, I could see myself playing the Switch like for such a long time that it would just be so great to have these minor inconveniences or just little weird things that people are complaining about. Like if they were complaining about those same issues about a Zelda game, I wouldn't like. I'd be like, "What's wrong with you guys?" You know, I just wouldn't understand. It wouldn't ruin that for me. Now, Bandana Gamer, who's in the chat right now, he says it's a weak collection. So I would be interested in knowing what that means, weak collection. My biggest complaint, though, of a Zelda 3D collection, if there's only 3 games, it'd be hard to pick which 3 games. Because I guess it might be obvious which games it would probably be. I bet if they did it, they would. If I was Nintendo, what I would do is I would do Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess all together, and re-release Skyward Sword as a standalone, like they're doing with Mario 3D World. That's what I would do.
Now, the 64 titles, would you want them to be the original 64 titles or the remade ones on the 3DS?
It's a good question.
I was going to say, personally, just for the look, I would say the 3DS ones, but I could care less either way. Whatever the ones they put on.
Yeah, I'd probably say I'm with Devin. Like, whatever they end up doing, I'd be happy. But Majora's Mask, when I played that dungeon, it was very difficult, but for the wrong reasons. It was difficult because I couldn't see things, and I'd have to like play in the dark because just the graphics or the textures or whatever, it was just very difficult. And Devin, along with other people, have said that problem was cleaned up in the 3D version. So
yeah, the game looks so much more crisp on the 3DS.
So that's why I would say I would probably prefer the 3DS version, but I wouldn't like be mad if they didn't.
So for the Mario 35th anniversary, we get this collection, and we get the remaster or re-release of Mario. Was it Mario 3D World, Mario 3D Land, whatever that one is? Is it World? So, what are the possibilities we could potentially be getting? If we get a Zelda collection next year, that we get another title as well as having our Breath of the Wild 2 coming out. What if we get the Oracle games finally?
That would be great. Like,
yeah,
I've never played them. I would actually really like.
And that. Would they be just collect them all in one, or would they use the same style as the Link's Awakening remake?
I would like that.
They would do the same style, but I doubt they would. I bet they just.
I mean, they got the assets there, and depending on how people accepted that version of it, and considering that is those 3 games are like the Zelda games for the Game Boy. So why not make the Game Boy Zelda games have their own unique style to them? And you've already got one with the unique style. Do the other 2 the same way.
I want to say that the engine that they used for Link's Awakening, I don't think that's a one-off, man.
I don't think it is either.
They put some R&D into that. It looks amazing. It played amazing. The music was great. Everything about that was such a charming game.
Oh, that game was phenomenal.
I think that they could probably just like, I know I don't want to sound like one of those guys where it's like it would just be easy to do this, but I think that the engine was created for a reason, and maybe they can do that for the Oracle games, or maybe even just a brand new game in general. Like, I think
what if they popped out and said that they used Link's Awakening remaster or remake to the engine to do A Link to the Past again?
Link to the Past, or the Oracle games, or even just like what if there was like an offshoot, a new Zelda game in that style?
Or give us the Frog for Whom the Bell Tolls.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you, Will, man. I know everybody's
I had to look up real quick to see what the exact name of it was. But that's what I thought of, because I mean he's got a does Prince he still Abel. Does he still have the appearance in
he does
the remake?
Yep. Man,
I would bring that back.
I would love that game. I mean it's got representation in Smash.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's obviously a Japan only release, but then Nintendo would obviously increase their spectrum of IPs. Like people would probably fall in love with this like they did with Fire Emblem, and it could be really popular. And I don't know. I definitely agree with you. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, most people don't know it. Kind of like people don't know about that that Devil World game that was on the NES. Now they put the character from that as one of the assist trophies, and people had no idea who he was.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and it was obviously Japan only because the American audience didn't receive it well or something, right?
What, Devil World or Frog?
Devil World.
No, it's because of Devil.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the crosses that were in it, and yeah, it was the religious imagery.
Right.
Yeah. Not that there was any group that rose up against it. Nintendo was just Nintendo of America. I think put a halt to it and said,
Yeah,
nah, we're no longer.
because part of it was after the gaming crash. People didn't want people didn't want systems anymore. To even get the NES out there, they had to market it as a entertainment system and not a game console, and more like a toy. That's why a lot of them break down after a while, and you have to fix them. But in terms of that, they wanted to kind of put some quality control in there because of how much garbage got out onto the market before the gaming crash. So they were trying to do that. They were trying to clean up the imagery of what gaming was and make something that was friendly to everybody.
You say a lot of them broke and stuff, but in reality, like I still play I can buy a Nintendo at a garage sale and it boots up.
Yes,
almost
but
immediately.
the 72-pin connector in it, that's part of why people had a hard time getting that system to play. The whole thing of blowing into the cartridge and constantly putting the cartridge back in and putting it down, turning it on.
Tons of things, because even if you stored the console with the game in it, it would actually eventually start to open those pins, so it wouldn't connect. A friend of mine at my job wants me to fix her top loader NES. That's why I asked you about that the other day. She handed to me saying, "Turn on."
It's weird because those ones didn't have that same problem. But the other thing was the chip that checked for bootleg games. There was a chip in there that when you started up your system, it checked to see if that was an authentic cartridge in your system. And if it wasn't authentic, it wouldn't start up. After a while, that chip stops working. So that's why these days, if you're playing an NES and it randomly boots back to the, like if you hit the reset button, that's why, because it's glitching and it's checking it again and going back to the beginning. So you actually have to go in there and you have to disable that chip because the system runs fine without the chip.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Did anybody pre-order PS5 this week?
I did not.
Yes.
I missed out, but I'm going to. I definitely am going to. I want it.
William, you did, huh?
I got one on Amazon. Yeah, and then like shortly after that, it went unavailable.
Yeah, a lot of people are upset by the shortages and stuff, but it's like, I mean, it's a new console.
And Best Buy was a big pain in the butt, and I'm glad I didn't get it on Best Buy because apparently they go and they charge you right away. They do a quick charge and then put the money back on, but I don't want to deal with that. But no, I sat there for 2 hours trying to get one at Best Buy. It would be in my cart. And then you go to checkout, and it wouldn't go to checkout. It would error out. There'd be a little message that said, "No, the system's trying to keep up."
What sold you on the PS5? Like, why were you a day one buyer?
I typically, if I'm interested in a system, I try to get it on the first day. I mean, I have my PS2 is a launch day, still works just fine. All of my systems, for the most part, since the Wii, were launch day. It's just something that I think, you know what? I'm going to pick this up. There's a game I'm interested in. I can still play the PS4 games on it. Because they did say it's compatible.
True.
David, why aren't you a day one buy?
I will say I was wowed this time around with the PS event. I think that they showed just the right amount of things. Like you've got some game announcements. I don't care who you are or what time frame, but game announcements are exciting. And
that Harry Potter game looked really cool.
Yeah, that was rumored.
I'm not picking that one up.
It's
that
Hogwarts something. I forget. It's something about Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've heard a lot about it.
That was actually like leaked 2 years ago, and people were like, "What is this? Is this just an engine or what's going on?" But now it's seen the light of day, which is really cool, I guess. And Final Fantasy 16 being real, like that's really huge. Even if you just like rub shoulders with the franchise just a little bit, that's really cool.
Somebody was saying it seems like it's going to feel more of, it's going to feel like 9 and 12 in terms of story and aesthetics. It's not going to be like 15.
Yeah, it returns
Or-
back to like a fantasy setting, and the
Yes.
director Yoshi P, you know, he's the one that's been doing 14, and 14 obviously shipped out and was like poorly received, but he like 180'd that ship, and he like now 14 is regarded as one of the best Final Fantasy titles of all time.
And I'm waiting to see if they announce that 14 is going to be on the PS5.
Yeah.
All it's going to take is just to port it over and let the people who have the game on their PS4 just move it over.
Yeah, and so a lot of people are excited just because of that director. He's gonna, he has a lot of passion for that project for Final Fantasy, and it's exciting. It's really exciting to, like, Square Enix looks like they want to hit the ground running with the next gen, which is really good. They need that. They don't need for their title to come out 5 years into the life cycle. They would want it to just come out either launch first year or a little bit thereafter. So that's really exciting. Obviously, God of War, and like Sony has great software. Their IPs are very, very strong, and I would argue that
Demon Souls.
That's what really keeps them in this race. Like, obviously Microsoft has their draws, but PlayStation, it's undeniable that their IPs are their first parties. It's really strong. So yeah, the presentation, I overall give it like a 8.5 out of 10. It's really solid, really, really good. But ultimately, I'm not gonna buy a next gen system. I never really am an early adopter unless it's Nintendo, because you really don't see many revisions until like kind of towards late of its cycle. With like the ones that I actually pick up, like a revision, like for example, the 3DS. I picked up the new 3DS because it's more toy-like, and it's got the little like eraser head stick and the exchangeable faceplates. Like, that's when I jumped on board. But back to the PS5, no, I'm not going to get it because I don't know. I'm gonna wait for a revision. I'm gonna wait for a price cut probably. And there's so much more for me to enjoy with the PS4 right now. I really think that the pros, like, they have some stock of pros somewhere. They're gonna probably bring them out and slash the price. That's what I hope. And then I can kind of be here for a couple more years enjoying the games, and then eventually I'll jump over.
Okay.
Although you could play PS4 games on the PS5.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not and I'm not trying to criticize the look of it or anything like that, but it's pretty dang big. And I don't know, I would look forward to a console revision aesthetically. I'm okay. I can comfortably say, like, I'm okay. I'm gonna let it just kind of, if anyone out there wants to buy it for day one, that's totally cool. No shame or anything like that. That's really great. I hope both companies have solid launches, but I it's just not for me for either system right now. So
All right.
Yeah.
What about you, Devin?
The Demon Souls. I'm glad that they were releasing that.
Yeah,
because
Amazing.
People forget about that one. It's I find it interesting. It's like Demon Souls, then Dark Souls, Dark Souls 2, I'm like, what about Demon Souls?
yeah. That's
it's kind of like Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
Careful, Hunter. You're going to become a collector if you're not careful. Hunter's saying that he just picked up Final Fantasy 1 Mint, and thinking about Star Tropics. And him and we go back, and he only collected like certain things, like your Luigi stuff and whatnot. And so, like, you ever find that once you dip your toes in collecting, it's like just more and more and more.
Yeah. Any NES stuff for me, like, I don't do complete in box unless it's a particular title that I really want to have complete in box, and has to be a good price for it. Because I was mentioning, I have a complete in box Star Tropics 1, and because if people are familiar with Star Tropics, there's a letter that you get with it that's attached to the instructions, and it's a letter from your uncle in the game. And at one point in the game, you have to put a code into I think it was the sub to get the sub to move, and the robot says, "Oh, didn't your uncle give you a letter? It might, no, the code might be there." And the idea is that you take that letter and you dip it in water, and the code appears on it.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was basically a sort of protection from if somebody Nintendo Power published the code anyways, but if somebody rented the game and they got to that point, unless they went and tried every single combination, they wouldn't be able to get past that point in the game unless they had that letter that came with the game if you bought it in the store. But mine still has the letter attached to the instructions. I've never removed it.
Is it your original copy, or did you buy it?
It's my original copy. In fact, I think what I used to do back then was I would open up the cellophane and then open the top, so the box would still have the cellophane around it.
Not
I did that
trashed everything that.
No, I think mine still has the cellophane around it. The same with my Gargoyles Quest 2.
Nice.
I kind of want to know Devin's answer, because I think, Devin, you were unsure about it, right? The PS5?
Oh, I was unsure about it until I watched the first reveal that they did of the actual look of the console.
Mm-hmm.
And when Oddworld Soulstorm was up on that screen, oh boy.
Yeah.
I love Oddworld so
they
much.
showed more of that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that game, for some reason, when it comes to Sony, a lot of people think Crash or Spyro. I think Castlevania Symphony of the Night and Oddworld.
Mm-hmm.
By far my favorite Sony games. I know they're on other systems now, but still. Oddworld Soulstorm really sold it for me, and Miles Morales, and various other things, and the unveiling the new God of War thing for Ragnarok's. That sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I actually want to go back and beat God of War. Is that technically a reboot, or what? What do you? It's not God of War 5.
I think it's a soft reboot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
which one? The
one where he has the kid with him.
boy.
Yeah,
I still haven't played that one yet.
That's a great
How to
game.
Disappoint Your Dad Simulator.
No, but I definitely think I want to get it pretty much on the basis of Oddworld Soulstorm alone. But the only thing that's holding me back is, well, number one, I missed the pre-order, so I'm going to have to wait until they jump up again. Number two, I really am a fan of special edition consoles. Every console that I have is a special edition. So I'm going to I know that I'm going to buy it probably, and then a couple months later or something, there's going to be a special edition, and then I'm going to try to trade the one I have in to get the new one. It's
Because I feel what they'll do with some of the special editions is they'll change the color of that light.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll find it interesting if they do that.
When people were putting up fake mock-ups of a Miles Morales special edition, I was like, dude, is that real? I'm like, wait a minute, no, it's not. It looked so cool, the spider on it, everything. I have the Spider-Man PS4 now, so that would be really cool if they did that, but I don't know. Because I've always liked Miles Morales' suit too, so.
Yeah, because I know a black one is in order. I know that's going to come out.
Personally, I would much rather black. As long as they don't do what the Xbox One and the original PS4 did. Because if you looked at that thing wrong, it would scratch.
Yeah.
I used a microfiber cloth made for glasses, and it scratched it as if it was sandpaper.
For what?
What's that?
For what?
The Xbox One, the original big fat one,
Okay, yeah.
had that really shiny part.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to try to keep my stuff as nice as I possibly can. So I wipe off the dust and stuff. I don't know if it was because of the dust or something, but it gouged into it. It looked so bad.
Ouch.
Ugh.
But yeah, as long as they don't do that. But yeah, I definitely think I want to get it mainly because of Soulstorm. Unless they decide to release that on another console, and then I'm sold. but I don't think so. I think it's PS5 exclusive at this point.
Yeah, there was like they kept putting down on some of them. No, it's a exclusive on PlayStation 5, and then an asterisk, and then down at the bottom, also available on PC. And everybody's like, "Well, I'm just going to get the PC version." I was like, I don't want a PC copy of a game.
PC
But there was-
doesn't like have like physical copies anymore. It's just digital.
No,
Not really, no.
No.
I mean, I know you can still
on
find
occasion. On occasion, you see it. But there was one game, I can't remember which one it was, but they said it was going to be on PC. Then after the presentation, they're like, oh, that's a mistake. No, it's not going to be on PC. It's an actual exclusive.
Whatever. But yeah, Ken, are you thinking about getting one still? I know you were saying about the PS4.
I'm thinking about getting that. I don't know. What's
That'll
the
be
price?
the perfect way for you.
$500?
Yeah, $500 for the disc, $399 for the digital.
The problem is, it's the 35th year anniversary of Zelda next year. So like now I got to save up for the potential downfall of whatever Nintendo's going to throw at us.
Is it really?
Oh, imagine if they released, like, because we already pretty much got the confirmation of this next Switch. Imagine the next Switch is kind of like how they did the Wii U, where it's got that black with the gold outlines and everything. I think that would be look really pretty.
Yeah, that's $300 right there. I'll have to spend next year just to get a Zelda console that I'll never open.
That's true.
And then we've got Hyrule Warriors, Breath of the Wild edition. We're gonna get Breath of the Wild 2, the collector edition, whatever that's gonna be. And then if there's a 35th anniversary of Zelda, and they
Speaking of that, like, I might as well bring this up. The Age of Calamity, or whatever it's called, that new Hyrule Warriors game, I've sent to our Facebook chat. There's going to be another case of a cool collector's edition getting to another country, not us.
Oh yeah, is it a what is
It was like, it comes with a blanket that
Like,
looks
yeah.
like his glider, and I'm like, dude, that's cool.
That's for Japan, right?
I forget where, but I know it's not here, unfortunately.
Did you ever get the Link's Awakening? Link's Awakening.
No,
Game
it
Boy?
popped back up on PlayAsia months ago. I ordered it, and for the longest time, it was still fine, and then I suddenly got a refund.
Dude, PlayAsia, it's taken a while, especially with COVID. My mom got me these for my birthday in November.
Oh, nice.
And
Japanese too, nice.
they just came in like 2 months ago.
Yeah,
So-
I ordered for something from PlayAsia months ago, and it finally shipped the other day.
I
pretty cool.
can understand because their stuff is obviously coming from Japan and China or wherever you're happening to be ordering it from. It probably takes a while. I mean, they also had the Taiko no Tetsujin drum, and I didn't order it from there but then you showed me Bandai showed up with it, so I ordered it from there, and I can't wait for that to show up. But the last thing I actually got from PlayAsia was the Panty Party game, and that took forever.
Yeah, the I got it sitting over here because one of the things they included with the Panty Party
I like
was
that
the little
little
case.
you can
Yeah.
put the game in.
And it's a keychain.
Yeah.
So you can
I
have-
always thought that I was going to lose the game or it would pop open, but
yeah, I haven't even opened it yet. The other game I ordered is they're including one of these as well.
Oh, that's cool.
I think they do that because I got Death Row to Canada and they just sent me that.
Because they I forget the name of the series. It's that weird. It's one of the weird like almost adult games. The Switch got one of them that was on the Vita.
Oh, you sent it the other day, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like these like monster girls that are in your party.
Okay.
But I saw that was coming out and like I'll order it. And it was like months ago that the orders went up. The version I'm getting, they're only making 3,000 copies of it.
Oh, wow.
Am I able to sneak in some Smash speculation, Ken?
Yes.
Go for it. We got 6 minutes left.
So, just kind of popped up today, but there's a 7-Eleven ad in Japan that went up for the Fighters Pass 2, and it expires on October 4th. So, meaning that ad gets removed October 4th. So, they are speculating that we're going to get a reveal soon. So, because these ads are going to go up soon but they will also be pulled down relatively soon after. So they speculate that it's going to be a reveal and then promotion, and then it's going to make way for something else. So I guess
can see it happening. I mean, if you look at the last like month, 4 weeks, Nintendo has released. They did like Pikmin, then they did Mario. No, they did Pikmin, then they did
Zelda.
Mini Direct, then Mario, then Zelda, then Mini Direct. It's like
yeah, they've been pumping out a lot of stuff lately.
Mm-hmm.
So like I could see this week. Who knows? Maybe we get a Smash announcement.
Yeah, I mean, it's either going to be this week or the next, I would say, because they would have to announce it and then they would have to do the Sakurai Let's Play, right? So
Unless really just drop the Let's Play right away.
Oh, it's known that he records these in succession sometimes. Like when he announced, not when he announced Banjo, but when he showcased Banjo last year around, so it's been a year now. He recorded the footage, and then an hour later, after the cameras cut off, he recorded the Terry stuff, even though Terry was released 2-3 months later. So it's possible that, due to I guess now that he's doing everything from his home, he's like a film crew as well. That it's possible that he kind of just records several in one setting. So
I saw a meme or something once saying like it's funny how Sakurai the Smash Direct is just Sakurai flexing that he can get perfect 10 on the dojo or whatever mode.
Right. I start to think like, what is it now? What character? And I could definitely, we already have some seeds in the Monster Hunter series. We have Rathalos, and we have some. I don't think we have the Mii Fighter anymore, but we have some songs. We have some Monster Hunter representation of some kind. I feel like those are some seeds, man. I feel like with Monster Hunter Rise in the horizon, and we have Monster Hunter Stories 2. I think that those protagonists in Rise are like the Nintendo centric Monster Hunter characters. Like those characters.
Something weird, like just give us a Palico as a character.
Yeah, they were saying a Palico or the dog or whatever, but I really think that it's going to be the male and female Monster Hunters from Rise. It would make sense because he has like a really cool grappling hook that's like now part of their arsenal. I know you had grappling hooks in the other ones, but like now this is like you can really traverse the area. You have the dog companion, which makes you like also travel around relatively fast. So I think that I don't know if it's going to be the next one. I think it's going to be eventually. I don't know. Who knows? I really don't know, but it's kind of exciting.
I can definitely see Monster Hunter, and even though Monster Hunter isn't like really a franchise that I've dipped my toes into that franchise, and it never fully won me over. I enjoyed it while I played it, but I never really has a hankering to go back to it. They definitely have the lineage. It's super popular in Japan, and it definitely has a following in America. I don't know so much about Europe, but I could respect a Monster Hunter rep.
Definitely, I can agree with that. As long as it's not another Fire Emblem character.
There'll always be Fire Emblem characters.
Mm-hmm.
No more. But anyway, I wanted to bring up the because of 3D All Stars coming out, we can finally technically finish the missions to get the pins on the website.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
yeah, I think they said tomorrow.
Yeah, you can finish the missions officially tomorrow and put in, I guess, to get the pins on 12 p.m. Pacific time. But then there's also another thing that if you got one of the missions done, there was also a sweepstakes that I never even knew about up until just today. So everybody...
Some people might not even know what you're talking about. So what are you talking about?
Okay, well, when they did the 35th anniversary thing, they set up these online-based missions that you do through your Nintendo account. to play some of the Mario music on the website, screenshot a specific picture of Mario. It was something in the Mario Kart Tour app, and there was like 2 or 3 other things. Buying the game, and I forget what else. Once you complete those things, you are basically entered in to be able to get this exclusive pin set from the My Nintendo. I guess it's like a reward, they're gonna call it at this point.
Uh-huh.
So and it's an exclusive pin set that I guess is probably going to be pretty rare too. So you have to be on there 12 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow to be able to get it, and I plan on getting it myself too.
And it's a physical pin set that they will ship out to you then.
Yes, and they've actually started doing physical rewards again too, so that's pretty neat.
That is really cool because Nintendo had some pretty cool rewards in the past.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
It is 8 o'clock, so we're pretty much set. And I apologize. I am super tired for some reason this week. So if I wasn't really that talkative, I don't know why I'm so tired, but I am. Maybe I just was watching too much Mario jumping around today. I haven't played this much hours of video games in a while. But any last comments, guys?
I think I'm good.
Oh, the last thing that I wanted to bring up, how Arby's is apparently having Cuphead toys.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that on my Twitter, showed up, and I'm like, what? Like, I'm
That
gonna
is really weird. For one, Cuphead is getting an animated deal with Netflix, but it's not really a kid-friendly franchise. I mean, even though it kind of looks like it is.
It looks like it on the outside.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah.
And then Arby's I've never known Arby's to give away toys. Period.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, I thought McDonald's was really the only one that did that anymore. Like, I remember back when Taco Bell did that, but they don't.
The Star Wars toys.
I remember they had an Earthworm Jim toy back in the day, but that's besides the point. But yeah, the Cuphead toys, I'm actually going to try to find them and see what they look like.
I'm kind of hungry, so I might go and check them out.
Yeah,
Go check it.
Get some Cuphead toys to show us.
And some horsey sauce.
Horsey sauce. Okay.
So, all right, guys. Well, next week we'll be back. We'll be talking about whatever Nintendo drops this week because Nintendo's been just dropping things for, like I said, the past 4 or 5 weeks. They've just had something to go off of. So it's dangerous to go alone. Please share this podcast with a friend. We will be here next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday. Guys, it was a pleasure. Hunter, EPS, Ronald, Issa Patel, Nick Clanton, Christian, everybody else in the chat. Always a pleasure. If I'm forgetting you, it's because I'm a giant jerk and I just don't remember. Alan Orange,